American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, thank you so much for joining us here at Wrestle Radio Australia. It's great to have you back here in Australia after, a long career where almost 20 years ago you made your debut in Australia here in Brisbane. What's it been like to have so many stages of your career also, reflected over on the other side of the world, coming to Australia and performing from way back, wrestling Nigel McGuinness in about 2007 to now promoting AEW?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty weird because I never put it in that sort of context. We're all just living our lives and everything seems normal, right? Everybody's life seems normal to them. And so, yeah, I've never even put it in that kind of context as far as like, I've had so many stages of my career and then now I'm back here in Australia. I've just been talking about, people ask me all the time, is this your first time in Australia? I was like, oh no, I've been here many a times. And my first show, I think, was actually in Surfer's Paradise, and I wrestled TNT.
The funny thing is, I stumbled on it because I thought, I want to look up other interviews you've done in Australia this time, so we don't kind of ask the same questions and all that sort of thing. And I stumbled on, they've got the match.
With me and TNT?
No, with you and Nigel.
Oh, okay.
Nigel McGuinness, yeah. But it is AWF TNT.
Oh, okay,
And he's doing the commentary on it.
Yeah, the first match I did for him was actually, I think, in Surfer's Paradise, because I went surfing that morning. The first time I ever went surfing. I can't swim. So it's like, and to say I can't swim is a lie. I can dog paddle. Yeah. But it was like,
it's a different animal.
It's a different animal. And when you get especially the ocean and, currents and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I went out there, did surfing, then went and had a match with TNT for the AWS Championship. Yeah. Yeah, he did. Gosh, one of the things actually I remember is like he would do some sort of like countdown. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, it's something or another. I was just like, oh, that's something,
We were at a supernova because he used to do all the supernovas, which were like Comic Cons.
Oh, okay.
And he was doing one around the ring, and he's walking around, and as he's going tick, 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 and nobody chanted it back.
Oh, I love it.
And he looks to us at the desk and goes, "Well, that's not over." And we're like, "Well, neither were you, mate."
He was so kind.
Yeah, he's the nicest guy.
Yeah, he's so nice. And and I can just completely see with his face, tick, tick, tick. Yeah.
I mean, that's independent wrestling.
That's independent wrestling, and it's why I love independent wrestling. I was there was a show that we did before. I think it was before Double or Nothing this year. It was a Dean show, and it's in tribute to Dean Rasmussen, who was a huge wrestling fan, would write about wrestling online on the Death Valley Driver website, deathvalleydriver.com. Anyways, I watched that show. Like I was there live watching it. And like, not much has made me want to come back to wrestling because I was in so much pain the last 6 months of my in-ring career. But I was there at that show and I was like, I kind of want to come back. Yeah. What do I have to do to wrestle Mad Dog Connolly in a chain match, So.
Well, I think it's interesting, looking at kind of, it's been 11 months since you've been a full-time in-ring competitor and now transitioning over to commentary. You're going to be joining the full-time commentary team on Dynamite this coming Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Is that something that, because you've done commentary before, you commentated on the Cruiserweight Classic, you've clearly got a knack for it. Is that something you wanted to do, that you were pursuing, or is that an opportunity that came up?
Also, did you find out like when you landed? Like, did Tony announce it while you were in the air? And you're like, oh,
no. So I got here on Thursday, but I did. So this is what happened. This is legitimately what happened because it's Sunday here.
Yeah.
Saturday in the United States. I wake up because I'm jet lag, different. I wake up at like 4 a.m. I meditate, I read, I FaceTime my wife. Then I get a text message. It's like, oh, you're going to be at Dynamite this week, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? And it's like, sends me the tweet from Tony. And Tony and I we had talked about it, but I didn't realize it was like
actually happening.
That it was actually happening. And so it was like, oh boy, here we go.
A very wrestling way to go.
Yes, a very wrestling way to go about it. Yeah.
How are your neck and how are they feeling at the moment?
So good, except when it's not,
Okay.
right? And so it's like when I'm just at home, which has been the blessing of being at home, mostly I've come and done the like AEW pay-per-views. I've been backstage. Most of them I haven't appeared out in the audience at all, but I've been at almost all the pay-per-views since my last match. But being at home and not flying and they told me not to even train or exercise for 3 or 4 months. And so I was just like, I was just doing like rehab type stuff and everything. And I was starting to feel pretty good. But then it's like, then you get on these long flights and I get off that plane after, it was like a 15-hour flight from San Francisco to Sydney.
Yeah.
And then I was like this, oh no, this is, and because I don't know why, I don't have to get in spandex tights anymore, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to get in spandex tights, show the world my body, right? And so I don't know why, but I still did. On Thursday, I was in the gym doing like leg day and heavy squats and stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm in pain. I'm like, well, why would I even do this to myself? And then
You've got the routine, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is that like, okay, I'm militant about my routine. My routine is this, and my wife will say like, but you're hurting, and you only slept 4 hours last night. And I'm like, but I don't. Do you see the sheet of paper? This is my program.
Yeah.
This is like I'm supposed to deadlift today, so I have to go do this.
Deadlift time.
Yeah, so it's deadlift time. You don't have an option.
Actually, like this week, I woke up with a bad neck.
Yeah.
And one of my mates like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, this is the joy about being over 40.
Yeah.
I could wrestle a match because I'm a manager, but I wrestled a match a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
I could wrestle a match against a 135 kilo guy. Wake up the next day feeling great.
Yeah.
I can sleep wrong, and it feels like my shoulder is being dislocated.
Yes. Yeah. And then it's like those long flights and stuff too.
Yeah, I
it's
can
like
imagine
so
that.
you're sleeping with your head against the window, and it's like this, and then you wake up after 6 hours like that, and you're like, oh no.
You're stuck.
Flight attendant, could you take my neck and just go ah? So yeah.
Or you can just live like that for the other option, right?
Yeah. And so like actually generally my neck feels pretty horrible, but it's like anything else in life, you just get used to it, right? You just get used to you get used to these things. The worst thing was I was getting this shooting pain down my arm. Adam Copeland recommended this guy to me who's worked on him. He lives in Toronto, and he sent me to him. And this guy, he worked on me for 6 hours straight, 2 days in a row, and it felt a lot. Like I hadn't slept more than 4 hours straight in close to a year. It was like I went to see this guy in April, and it was the match that I had with Will Ospreay in April of the year before that had really made my neck get much worse. But I went to see this guy, and it felt, as he was doing his stuff, I felt like, I don't know if this is really going to work, whatever it is. But I hadn't slept more than 4 hours straight in a year. And I went to bed after that first night and slept 9 hours straight. and then he worked on me the next day, and I slept 8 hours straight after that. And then now I've just started sleeping good. The pain has it was shooting down my arm, which it stopped. And then, and so anyways, this miracle worker, right, really helped me. My neck is still I don't have great rotation and all that kind of stuff, but I go and see a physical therapist, and I'm constantly doing rehab stuff. And so, most of my day, I don't even think about it. And then it's when I lay down to go to sleep at night where I just this isn't pleasant, but I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So, which is better than it was before. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think that it's been so exciting having you as part of AEW, and it's really great to see somebody go out on their own terms, especially when you had an opportunity to be forced out of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
To see you get the choice to go out on your own terms is really exciting, and we can see the way that younger wrestlers are taking, looking up and seeing the things that you've done. Where do you see your influence within AEW the most?
I don't know. That's I'm not looking for my influence, right? So I don't necessarily recognize it or whatever. There are certain people who I know were fans of mine, or who I was their favorite wrestler, or whatever it was. And all that does is make me feel old, right?
Yeah.
So it is funny because, like, you know, it's one thing when, like, Daniel Garcia was like, you know, he's like, I was one of his favorite wrestlers, or whatever it is. Okay, he's young, he's in his 20s or whatever it is. But what's really funny is, like, when Seth Rollins, you know, when he was Tyler Black and he came into Ring of Honor, you know, and at that point I'm like, you know, one of the grizzled vets of Ring of Honor, and he would come and say, like, hey man, it's great. I watched you when I was in high school, and I'm like, wait a second. You're like a 20-year vet.
Yeah.
How old am I? It's like, yeah, it's like, so yeah, that's those are the things that make me feel just kind of old, right?
I've been getting it recently because this show has been going for like 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be on a show and, like, a rookie or like a guy that's been wrestling for like a couple of years will come and go, I listened, you got me into Australian wrestling because I listened to you before I started training.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So it's so funny because, you know, Christopher Daniels, who recently retired earlier this year, you know, after the match with Hangman, and we used to call him. Now I feel so bad about this. We used to call him Old Man Daniels. I think he was like 30 years old. But it's just that all of us were like, we were like 20, and like the first time I met him was in 2001, and I was 20 years old, and it was just like, you know, so I and then I wasn't the one, obviously I was not the one who started calling him Old Man Daniels. You know, that was the people who had known him better than me, and then, but I picked up on it, as I do, and then I drive things into the ground. And so anyways, and now I look back on it, it's like, man, we were calling him Old Man Daniels when he was like 30 years old, and like, now I'm 44. It's like,
I get the ones where they call me Wrestle Dad.
Oh,
like, no.
Yeah. I like to think that the younger talent doesn't think that way of me because I'm cool. That's what I like to think. You know, right? Yeah. Right, Kyle Fletcher, I'm cool, right? Yeah. So do you know how I know I'm not cool? Is that I think somebody's not cool, and it turns out they are cool.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so for example, I didn't think Daniel Garcia dressed very well, right? But I was like, he said something, and I said something along the lines of like, yeah, but I mean, like, your style, I mean, you're like, yeah, I just don't think you're cool. And everybody who's that age was like, oh, are you kidding me? Garcia dresses super cool. I was like, oh, no. I'm the one who's not. I don't know. And to be fair, if you talk to people who've known me for a long time, like Samoa Joe or Christopher Daniels or any of those types of people, I've never been cool. Never once. It's not like when I was 21 and I was calling Christopher Daniels Old Man Daniels. It's not like I was cool and he was not cool. It was like he was not cool and I also was not cool. Yeah. But younger. Just younger and not cool, which is actually less cool.
That's right. You mentioned Kyle Fletcher there, and you know, that's one of the awesome Australian talents that have come through in AEW, along with, you know, especially here in Queensland, where we've had people like Harley Cameron and, you know, Tony Storm especially is a huge draw. And you've talked about, you know, seeing the wealth of talent that's coming out of Australia. Have you had any opportunity to see any of the other young Australian talent coming up?
Like, do you watch any of the like, because I know you're a wrestling nerd, you just like watching, have you watched any of the Australian wrestling shows?
No, so I haven't. I mean, to be honest, there's an overwhelming amount of wrestling to watch.
Too much.
And
yeah,
so it's like, okay, if you hear about somebody being good, do you instantly watch their match? Well, you can't, because you hear about so many different people being good. And so that's one of the hard things for me as somebody who desires, like, I have a addictive personality, to say the least, you know, when it comes to like wrestling. I mean, you might be able to see it in the way that I wrestle. And so it's like, but my personality is such that if I hear about somebody being good, I instantly want to see, okay, are they actually good? Are they this, whatever? With young talent, I think it's really hard to be good in every way that you need to be good, right? Yeah. And so, but is there a spark there, right? Is there, when you see a young talent, is there a spark there where it's like, okay, we can take this person, and if we give them a little bit of guidance here, they can be whatever. Anyways, if I did that with every person who I heard was good, I would never have time in the day, right? And so it's like, yeah, so it saddens me to say, because there's so much footage now, which is a great thing. It's a great access is a great thing, but it makes it hard if you want to try to follow like everything, you know.
We were talking about it last week, where when this show sort of started, all we could really talk about was like WCW, NWA, TWT, because that's all you get to see.
Yeah.
But now that most companies, especially in Australia, they stream their shows. There was at one point when, how about we just scrap, we put TNA and AEW and all that to the second half of the show. In the first half of the show, we just review an Australian match, an Australian show.
Yeah.
Because then people are listening go, okay, I want to go and check that show out.
Yes, yeah. It's good for the locals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even then, to keep up, sometimes we're watching 2 shows a week.
Yeah.
You know, the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
It's been like, MCW have a show on, but so does like Pro Wrestling League. We don't want to skip one show.
Right.
So let's just review both of them.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome.
So yeah, it's just the wealth of talent, not only like in Australia but everywhere. But I think, and we've been saying for a while, like per capita in Australia, I think we have one of the strongest like crops of professional wrestlers coming out at the moment.
Yeah.
Just when you see how many are breaking through into the major leagues.
Yeah. And I was kind of wondering about that, because it's not just in AEW, right? So it's like, obviously I'm here to promote AEW, to promote the shows that we've got coming up forward. But when you look at Rhea Ripley, right, and how big of a star she's become within WWE, I mean, it's not just an AEW thing, right? And so it's like, okay, there's clearly something. There's something here.
Something in the water.
Yeah, there's something, and it's like, it takes time for a system like that to develop, where you realize all of a sudden, okay, there's something going on there, and now we're starting to see the fruits of that, right? And so then what will that look like in 5 to 10 years, which I think is fascinating.
There were like 2 guys, especially, and I say this because of the circumstance they were put in, is it's like Slex and Adam Brooks, and both of those guys got signed to Ring of Honor.
Oh.
And as they were flying over is when the pandemic hit.
Oh, no.
And they got sent back and never ended up coming back.
Oh, my gosh. Oh,
so you've got like a guy like Adam Brooks, who is arguably the best wrestler in the country. Just can't seem to break it through because...
Well, yeah, and I didn't know who he was till you mentioned him, and now I'll probably watch.
Adam's had great matches with Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm going to say this.
Match with Will Ospreay's going to be.
Yeah. Having a great match with Will Ospreay is not.
Yeah. No, that is a fair comment.
Yeah.
Like Mustafa Ali, he worked with Moose this year,
okay.
last year in Australia. Really, really good work.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys that. Because he's a mate of mine, I'm like, you must be one of the most unlucky motherfuckers in the world. He goes, no, I'm kind of lucky because at least I was on my way to the airport when they rang me.
Right, yeah.
Slex was in the air.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently he landed in America and they said, turn back.
Okay. So this is not pandemic related, but that actually happened to me the first time I went to the UK. So I was going to wrestle for Bryan Danielson and the holiday camps, and William Regal had helped me get this gig, and it was because it was to help me improve my personality, right? And I went from Los Angeles, flew to Japan, did a tour of Japan, and then I was going from Japan to the UK, except Bryan Danielson said, okay, yeah, just you have to just get through customs. You don't need a work permit, and it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm young, I'm stupid, or whatever. I go through. What are you here to do? Oh, I'm just here to, just here to visit. Whatever it is. How long are you gonna be? How long are you gonna be here? I don't really know. What do you mean you don't know? When's your ticket back? Oh, I don't have a ticket back. So how much money do you have? $300. How long is $300 going to last you? How are you going to leave here? Do you have a credit card? I don't have a credit card. It's just like, and so it's like, so I ended up getting deported, but they were going to deport me back to Japan because that's where I came from. So then I had to use the $300 that I did have, plus my mom had to wire me some money so I could get a flight back to, anyways, all of that to say, do you know how much that work permit cost?
Like 10, well, it was 10 grand last time.
No. 100 pounds.
Oh my God.
He skimped out on 100 pounds So yeah, I ended up coming back a month later. But anyways, so I empathize with the man who was in mid-flight and then got there and had to come back.
At least you didn't end up on board of security like Chris Hero.
Yeah.
There's the upside to that.
Yeah.
With last time AEW came out here, they did the Worlds Collide Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm. Global Wars.
Sorry.
Yes.
Ring of Honor. Do you think something like that would possibly be happening again this year? Because I only say that for the fact that I know that there was an Australian who got on that card, Tommy Knight, who's an amazing worker. Well, I was just wondering if that would be happening.
So I don't know. I would assume so. One of the things Tony Khan wants to do, or it seems that he wants to do. It's not like he says this to me directly, like I want to do this. This is my observation, is that he seems to want to give fans who attend the show more than what they think they're going to get. Right. So if you so right now it's AEW Grand Slam Sydney, and when you show up, or maybe in the couple weeks leading up to it, and then on top of that, you're also getting this, So I would not be surprised if that were the case. I am not stating that is the case. I do not know if that's the case.
With the way we edit this.
One of the things that I've noticed about AEW is the range of styles is so vast. Mm-hmm. You've got, the really intense stuff with lots of blood, down to the really technical, proficient side of it, all the way down to the funnier, goofier side of it. Do you think that there's a huge benefit in exposing people to all of those different types of wrestling? And how do you see it funneling through your vision of pro wrestling?
Yeah, so it's interesting because, I've had multiple times in my life where I had the belief, this is what pro wrestling should be. And every time, after some reflection, I realized that I am an idiot. And that wrestling can be anything, right? And the same thing that a movie, if you say a movie, if they only produced horror movies, would I watch movies? Probably not. I like comedies.
But I'd be
I grew up liking a lot of punk music. If you only heard punk music, is that good? No. What you want, and that William Regal was big on this, is that you want your wrestling to be a variety show, right? And within the span of WWE, my time there is when that really rang true to me, in the sense of you had the main event guys who were doing whatever they were doing, but then you also had Khali, who the hardcore wrestling fans might not be huge fans of Khali, mm-hmm. but when you saw Khali at a live event and he came out there, everybody was dancing, everybody enjoyed it. You had Santino Marella, you had all of these things. So you had a range of different things. Now Tony Khan really believes in having great in-ring pro wrestling. But there's different great styles of in-ring pro wrestling, and you get that in AEW. You get the variety show. It's just a different form of the variety show. So you get an in-ring performance that can be more comedic, similar to how Khali or Santino was comedic in their backstage ways. Mm-hmm. Now you're getting the comedy in the ring, in a match, in whatever. Now you're getting a Zack Sabre Jr., Bryan Danielson match. Now you're getting a John Moxley match or a Darby match, or now you're getting Hangman Page and Swerve, which I never want to see again. Not that it wasn't good, but I don't want, those guys are incredible. Yeah. Two of the best guys I've ever been in the ring with. Please, I don't want to see you staple somebody's tongue.
No, I don't need the syringe.
But some people do.
Yeah.
And it's those matches for our audience have been incredible, right? And so it's and you see Swerve and Hangman just getting to the next level because they're willing to do these things that I would have never been willing to do, right? And so anyways, I think there is definitely something to wrestling being a variety show, and that because then you appeal to more things, but you also have to know what your identity is and don't stray from your identity. So there's I don't know, it's a hard balance to find. So
But like that variety is fantastic, and we should be seeing some of that variety in Sydney for Grand Slam Sydney on February 14th, 2026, and in Brisbane on the 15th of February for House Rules Brisbane. Bryan Danielson, thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, thank you very much.